everyone. What is normal? When we think about the word normal, we often think about everyday things or routines. But when it comes to people, the word normal can make us think of the majority versus the minority. For example, do I seem normal to you? Yeah, don't answer that. Instead, would it surprise you to know that I am one of the 1 in 5 people in this world who consider themselves neurodivergent? Does that make me abnormal? Does normal even mean anything when we talk about people? In nature, biodiversity, having different kinds of life, is essential for a healthy ecosystem. But when it comes to humans, the related concept of neurodiversity, having different kinds of brains, hasn't yet reached the mainstream. As a society, we haven't fully accepted that while some people have different brains, every brain deserves to be celebrated and encouraged to reach their full potential. So today, in the next few minutes, let's get curious and challenge ourselves to rethink what normal really means. Let's understand neurodiversity better and move away from outdated labels that don't help us in everyday life. From a young age, I knew I was a little bit different. I was imaginative and outgoing, but I didn't express emotions the same way the others did. My mum would sometimes sit me down and she would shape my face and show me what happy looks like, what sad looks like. By the time I was 3, I had already been diagnosed with dyslexia, dyspraxia, and autism. But none of these labels could fully explain how my brain worked. At school, I was sometimes labelled as unwilling to learn, but in reality, I was eager to learn everything. I just didn't fit into the way that the school system expected me to learn. So I was placed in the bottom sets with misbehaving students, which didn't help me at all. I was desperate to understand why people saw me as different. So I'd often skip school and I'd study science in my own way. Pretty badass, right? I'd watch psychology videos on YouTube. I'd use text-to-speech software to read my textbooks out loud. This worked for me. And that is how I discovered the concept of neurodiversity. Neurodiversity isn't a label or a diagnosis or a feel-good term. It's the idea that neurological differences like dyslexia, like dyspraxia, like autism are natural and important variations in how humans think. It means that everyone's brain is unique. And that's okay. Despite finding a way that worked for me, I couldn't study biology in college because the school officials didn't think I could handle the traditional academic subjects. So instead, they pushed me towards vocational training. Now, don't get me wrong, there is nothing wrong with vocational careers, but they weren't for me. The system focused on what it thought were my disabilities rather than my abilities. I refuse to accept that. It's my life after all. With determination and passion, despite many setbacks, I recognized my strengths. And I became the first person in my family to attend university. Sadly, my experience isn't unique. Too many people face outdated labels and perspectives and misguided approaches from education systems and society. Consider this troubling fact. 70% of autistic adults are not in employment. 70%. These kind of statistics inspired me to team up with other individuals to deliver free weekly training led by neurodivergent individuals for neurodivergent individuals, aimed at empowering those who have been misunderstood. It was time to level the playing field for people like me and others, such as Emma, one of our many regular attendees, a bright, talented woman who never felt that she fitted in. We made neuroscience fun and accessible, helping people understand and celebrate their brains. With this new self-awareness, after 4 long years of unemployment, Emma was able to rejoin the workforce, securing a role in the civil service, but this time without having to hide who she really is. Emma's story shows that with the right understanding and support, neurodivergent individuals can thrive. But sadly, her story is rare. Neurological differences like mine and Emma's are just that, differences, not deficits. Many neurodivergent individuals, like everyone else, have strengths and weaknesses. Understanding each person's unique spiky profile is key to helping them reach their full potential. A spiky profile refers to a person having both strengths and weaknesses in different areas. For instance, someone may find reading difficult. This would be their low spike, but excel in interpersonal communication, a high spike. Shifting from this deficit to difference perspective has huge benefits. Clearly, it's helped empower individuals like Emma and me. But more than that, it means businesses and society as a whole can benefit from the talents and the creativity of neurodiverse people. Surely, this is better than 70% of autistic adults being out of employment. We want to work. We want to be accepted. The problem is, society often labels these differences as disabilities without fully understanding them, which leads to misunderstandings and oversimplifications. Labels can have their uses. They can be great starting points. But when they start limiting an individual's potential and categorizing those that can and those that can't, we need to rethink our systems. If I mention I have dyslexia, people assume I can't read. I can, by the way. I love reading. It may take me longer, my low spikes, but the extra time helps me understand and appreciate the text more deeply, my high spike. When people hear autism, they often go to the extreme. They either talk to you really, really slowly, or they search for your superpower. If I was a superhero and in the Avengers, I would be dyspraxic Hawkeye. I'd be battling alongside a genius in high-tech armor, a god, a super soldier, or an incredible Hulk. And here I am, with just a bow and arrow I probably left at home. Why must we be either exceptionally able or entirely disabled? Labels like this are too simplistic. They box us in, reducing our potential to a narrow checklist of abilities. So what can we do about this? I've been studying and advocating for neurodiversity for years now. And one of the most important lessons I've learned is that neurodivergent individuals aren't problems to solve. We're unique, valuable people who deserve to be understood, celebrated, and encouraged to reach our own greatness. Neurodiversity is a fundamental part of human diversity that, when embraced, drives innovation and inclusivity. Studies show that companies with neurodiverse inclusive cultures are nearly 2 times as likely to be innovation leaders in their field. Need more proof? Here's my story. I want to share an example of how you can be transformed from being perceived as an underachiever to forging your own path. From that young boy who didn't understand what happy looks like or what sad looks like, I've supported in raising millions for charities. I've helped inform UK policy together with Larry the Cat. I've spoken alongside royalty. I became a neurodiversity expert for the BBC and Channel 4. I've even lectured university professors. I studied media as an undergrad, and recently I completed my master's in applied neuroscience. Today, I'm delivering a bloody TEDx talk. Something I, and those who labelled me, probably never imagined. Not bad for someone with a disorder, right? My journey, like many others, show how essential it is to look beyond the label and understand our brains. Let's define ourselves by our strengths, our perseverance, and unique perspectives, not by limiting labels. To those of you who are neurodivergent, I challenge you to stay curious and embrace your brain's unique wiring. To those of you who aren't, I urge you to question deficit-focused narratives and become an ally in creating an inclusive culture. Let's peel off the labels, unlock the limitless potential in everyone. Together, we can create a more inclusive society where neurodiversity is celebrated, not stigmatized. I look forward to a day when that is considered normal. Thank you.